Woo, what's up, Charles?
Hey, how's it? How's it? How's it? Doing good, doing
One,
good.
one of those days, man. One of those days.
Uh,
One of those days.
let's look on the bright side. We're here. That means we're alive.
I miss you, man. I miss you, buddy. I miss you,
Same
man.
here,
I
brother.
miss you,
Same
bro.
here. Yeah, a lot of work to be done, but hey, who said as you get older, life was going to be much easier? Still got to work
Yeah,
hard. Still
yeah.
got to work
Whoever said that lied.
hard. You gotta get the juices flowing. You gotta run on all cylinders, right? To be perfectly satisfied at the end of the day that you did a hard day's work. That's
Yeah, that's the reward, after I know you work a lot, and your day your days start very early and not as early. I mean, mine doesn't start as early as yours. Man, I'm waking up and you're already pounding the pavement. But um, there's, at the end of the day, when you sit back and you relax and you look back at the day and you made some progress, I think that's the reward we have. It's
yeah.
when you get older, you appreciate a whole lot more. Um, appreciate a whole lot more.
I,
And
I just I just appreciate, I guess I never really experienced. I mean, I've had good teams in the past to work with in a department, out of the department. But I gotta tell you, boy, the people I work with at the Hui Airport. I mean, I'm sorry, but man, they are the greatest. Given the conditions they gotta work under, and they elect to work this job, and I am so grateful that they're coming in every day. They could skip out at any time. You know, that's that's a given, but they don't. And so I'm just really
yeah,
grateful. Yeah.
well, they're lucky to have a boss like you, man. They're lucky to have a boss. That's part of it, Charlie. I think if they had a crappy boss, more would depart. We often talk about, and well deserved, the accolades and the prayers for our frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors, the people that work in hospitals and clinics, and all of these people that's their job. That's what they do. They save lives and they work in a dangerous environment. Police officers, firemen, firewomen, and sometimes we forget about those occupations, like those that work at the airport every day. All those people coming into the airport, all the people that work at the grocery stores that are dealing with people all day, from people from all over, really, the world. People at the hotels that's got to come in contact with people they don't know and could possibly be infected. All of these people that are out there doing this day in and day out. um,
Yep.
we really gotta give them the mahalos, because seriously, it's a village, right? It's the village. We kind of coined that term, the village. But yeah, the village is huge, well beyond what's in our show. We get people all over the place that just deserves to be shown the mahalo and the thank you. So thank you, all of you,
Yep.
Charlie, you and all your workers, and all of these people that are doing what many of us choose not to do. So yeah, mahalo,
You
man,
know, I
to all of
even I even want to send a shout out to there's it hasn't always been a healthy relationship between security personnel and taxi drivers, right? Because there's always those who try to slip under the wire. They're not supposed to be operating, but nevertheless, I'm so grateful to them too because uh, they're they're people that they work for a living. They're transporting people to wherever they gotta go, and they're doing it under some pretty rough conditions because it's the unknown, right? They don't know who jumping in the car, whether they're vaccinated or not, uh, whether they live carriers or not. Nobody knows because we're not doing any more testing upon arrival. But they're putting themselves out there and say from the airport to Poipu is at least 20 minutes, and they're in a confined condition within the car, just like the airplane. But nobody gives them some of the credit because they help move bodies from point A to point B. So a
Mhm.
shout out goes to them too. They're very happy.
Charlie, I'm going to ask you to read. My dad is on. He just popped on. I'm going to ask you to
Yeah.
read his comment. I cannot because I'm going to break down. But
Okay.
maybe you can. Maybe you can. It should be on your thing. He posted just a couple posts back.
Let me see. I don't see it. It's I'm trying to look for it. Oh yeah,
Anyway, yeah.
there I get it right there. It says, "Hello, Mel and Charlie. Good to be on tonight. Missed you on Friday. I also want to thank all of the wonderful people that sent me good wishes and prayers for me while I was in the hospital. Now I'm home resting and my daughter's helping us. Thank you all again and God bless you all and have a wonderful Christmas. Love to you all." Yes, Sir Thomas. Godspeed. Continued prayers for you getting well. I understand you had I call it a minor setback, but I know the good Lord is watching you and everyone is praying for you. So continue to recover in a healthy way. And I know before long you'll be out there chasing all those pretty women again, my friend.
Good to have you back, pops. Yeah, my dad had a mild heart attack. I know when he went into the hospital, we reported that it wasn't, but the next morning when they ran the tests, he had a mild heart attack. Had two stents put in, and it's just awesome to have him on the show tonight. He said he missed us, but no, we missed you, pops. I love you, man.
Yep. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
gonna be
This
he's gonna be good. Yeah,
strong guy. I tell you what, man, that guy's tough. That guy is tough as nails.
well,
Tough
you
as
got
nails.
the wonders of science now. You think
Yeah.
about it. Just within the last 15, 20 years, science have come leaps and bounds from what it was before. And even having stents, my understanding is because now all stents are medicated, right? So it's not like the old ones where you get it and it's not medicated, so you get a lot of plaque buildup in the stent itself, and that's why it's rendered useless. But your dad is he's a very very fortunate man to have modern technology on his side. So everything will be well, my brother. Everything will be well. And to you, Thomas, and your family, like I said, continue to recover. Take your time. Just take your time. Everything has its own time schedule, so no need to force anything right now. Main thing you joined us tonight. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
In other words, Daddy, he's telling you to rest and recover properly. That's what he's telling you.
And as to show proof that you are resting and recover, um, my address I'll send it to you later so that the stickers and all that you want to send over. Don't worry, I'll be more than glad to take it from you.
I tell you, when I see that little box come in the mail, I know already. Ah, he sent a bunch of candy. Oh my god! And I actually ate them this time. Oh my god! But anyway, it's good to have you back, Dad. It's good to have you back. Not I'm trying. You cannot try. You just gotta relax and rest. That's it. Yeah. So much to be thankful for, guys. Charlie and I was talking before the show. We gotta. This is the deal, people. This is the deal. We gotta coexist with this thing. We. I see comments sometimes that drive me nuts. It's like whose one is bigger. Whose one is bigger? No, it's not about whose one is bigger. It's about, hey, listen up, guys. We got COVID, we got beta, we got gamma, we got lambda,
Alpha,
we got delta, we got I was going to say corona, we get the omicron,
Raptor.
we get all these things, and it's not going to stop. It's going to continue to come. It's going to continue to mutate. It's going to continue. And but look at what the treatments and the things. The vaccinations obviously is helping a lot of people. There's so many tools in the toolbox now that we have that we didn't have back in the beginning. When if you got stuck with COVID, like unfortunately Charlie's brother, um, your chance was slim, and now it's I still don't think we're in a good place like our lieutenant governor says, or our governor. I think we got to worry. I think we still got to be concerned, but we also gotta live. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight, Charlie. And by the way, yeah, we don't have a guest tonight. This is the deal, and I'm not going to mention names. We sent out some invites. Every Everyone is gearing up for the next surge. All of our doctor friends and experts are gearing up for the surge that will come. It will come. So it's Charlie and me. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna talk story about all kind of things. But I also want to make people understand that we're not out of the woods, and we still got to be safe. Kauai today, as you can, for most of you know, we reported two deaths today on Kauai. One was a recent death, 60 or a male subject in his 60s that was hospitalized, and the second one was a male subject that was in his 40s that passed away here on Kauai. Um, it's still here. It's still dangerous, and we're still dealing with Delta. And Omicron is making its way across. If you're following the UK, if you're following what's happening in other countries, they're saying the R naught is now a three. The doubling of these cases are happening every 2 to 3 days. And if you notice today's number, we had 200 some odd cases yesterday, which was the numbers from Friday. Saturday, Sundays, remember, we always drop to the double digits. We had what, 170 today on a Monday, which is actually the case count from
Saturday.
Saturday. So what we're gonna see is we're gonna see the 170 turn to 300 to 600 to we're gonna be in the 4 digit realm very shortly. It's not We cannot avoid that. The good news is that most of these cases really hasn't shown to be more serious yet. It's still too soon to tell. So let's not let our guards down. Let's not let our guards down, and be safe. Just be safe, guys. If you're not vaccinated, please consider getting vaccinated. If you're vaccinated, eligible for boosters, go get boosted. If you're not vaccinated and you choose not to vaccinate it, we love you too, but just be safe, guys. Wear a mask, practice social distancing, stay away from gatherings, and we can get through this. But this whole arguments about whose one is bigger, I mean, I think that has to stop. Just we love you all, regardless of what position you take. But regardless of which position you take, the fact of the matter is, this is a dangerous virus, and we need to protect ourselves and protect others. So that's what I'm going to say.
Well, first I'd like to say aloha to Dr. Kauhimano Dang. Yes, thank you for that shout out. Also, I'd like to thank Ms. Betsy Raposo, the other half of Mel and Kathy Raposo. Thank you for the goodies that she dropped off to my lovely wife today. And I finished all the mix that she made. Stephanie didn't have any. So I'm sorry. She can have the cookies and stuff. I had the mix today. I will comment, and that is, like I've said, between you and I seem to be the one kind of laid back. I mean, my position is, when you grow up in the housing, there's a lot of gunfire in certain places. When you grow up, you tell yourself, I will never go back. Or I'll never be in that situation again. Why? Because if you've been one that had some close calls, I think that's a learning curve. I mean, it's a natural learning progression for you. And I think not enough people have gotten close to this virus enough to give them a little scare to make them really take this seriously. So, having said that, I can only hope and pray that you don't get sick. That's the only thing I can do. I'm not going to tell you otherwise, or you do this, or you do that. Because if you haven't done it already, you probably won't do it. And I understand. But I just don't want you getting into that position that, it's like those people that decide to go swimming in some place they say it's dangerous. If you're not a strong swimmer and you get strong undertow, don't go there because when it's too late and you get a big sign that says no lifeguard on duty, what you gonna do, right? And so I think that's my position. It's just that I don't get close enough to it to wanna feel it or experience it a little because there's with this variant, there's no such thing as a little. It's either gonna come at you a lot or it's not gonna come at you at all. That's the way I look at it.
That's the scary thing, right? Because you don't know if you can be if you can respond well to this virus or not. You don't. And I was talking to Charlie about a friend, a very close friend of mine that passed away in September. He lives on Oahu. I didn't even know until a mutual friend posted uh, a little memory post, and I was shocked. I just spoken to him a few months ago, and very good friend of mine. I've known him for, I don't know, what is it? Got to be 30 years now. And he was a fireman in on Oahu, and was ready to retire. He was telling me how happy he was. He was excited. He was going to retire this year in December, and he was going to pursue his other projects. He was working in some farming projects, aquaponics, and it just and he's gone. And it struck me, and then I started thinking about all the other personal friends that I've lost, and a first cousin, and I have a very good friend right now, laying in a hospital on a ventilator, not doing well. And then I think about the post that I see and trying to compare this to the flu. And I don't know anyone, Charlie, and I'm 57 years old. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't know anyone that has died from the flu or the common cold. And maybe some of you have, and I'm sure it does happen, but not to the extent of COVID, where you see young, healthy people dying from a virus. I understand all of that stuff about the immunocompromised and people with underlying conditions, and yeah, those people succumb to the flu as well. But when you take a normal, healthy person and they catch this virus, and my point is this, Charlie, over the last almost 2 years now, I probably, I don't know, six or eight, maybe even more people that I personally know that have lost the battle with COVID. I just don't know anyone that lost their battle with the common cold or the flu. I don't. That's just the reality. So it kind of frustrates me when I see how people compare this to the flu, uh, because it's not. And I think enough experts have proved that point that this is not the flu, and this is something that we really got to pay attention to.
You know, when I was with the medical examiner's office, there are a lot of times that I investigated a death, and for the life of me, I could never understand why it happened. But until you had the opportunity to attend the autopsies, attend the medical examiner's findings, you know, my job back in those days were I was a guy on the scene, gathering all the information, trying to piece together what happened. But when you got somebody who looks like they're just sleeping, right? But for some reason they expired, you don't know, and those are the mysteries that really kind of grabs you really, really hard because you tell yourself, "Who can be from me too?" Especially if they have like a high fever, and then next thing you know, they develop pneumonia or they develop some kind of breathing difficulties. Yeah, you kind of wonder. So there's always these things that it kind of happens in sequence. I never knew that until I started investigating more, and then the I will admit one thing. There's a little sense of complacency because when you have investigated enough deaths as I have a year, and that's well over 300, right? You kind of look at it, you say, "Oh, I've seen this before, so got to be this," and that's not a right thing to do. You got to do your job and really investigate it well. and get your findings and match it up with the ME. I guess the point I'm trying to drive home is that these variants that we are dealing with now is so new, and it's sort of like a chameleon. It'll change on a dime. So it's now you see it, now you don't. And for all of us, we want to be responsible, but at the same token, we're saying that as long as it's in front of us, we'll be okay because we can see it. The flip side to this whole story is you can't see this thing. And by the time you recognize it, it's too late. It's jumped on you. So you're racing against time to get rid of it. And I think that's the thing. I've seen strong people survive, and then I've seen strong people that haven't survived. And like I said, this variant is like a chameleon. It's continually changing, and it's not only is it deadly when it wants to be, and I'll put it that way, because not all the time you hear somebody who come down with COVID dies, but should it take a turn for the worse, it'll do you in, because we've seen that happen before too, and we see what happened to those who experienced the long haulers effect, right? Months and months down the road, they still suffer from breathing problems, similar to COPD. They have difficulties, and how do they shake it? I don't know the answer. I only wish, and I'm pretty sure they wish at the time that they didn't get it, but it's too late now, right? So I think our sounding or our message is to those who haven't come in contact with it that you're in a good position, stay that way. Don't be complacent and let your guard down, where you become like those who got it. And months and months and months later, they still have it and they can't shake the effects from it. I don't think you want to be in that arena.
Which is another very different characteristic of COVID as it relates to the common cold or the flu. You can get really, really sick from the flu or the cold, and I mean, many of us have experienced that. But once it goes away, it goes away. And I can tell you, my daughter still has lingering effects from her COVID infection. Memory issues, breathing issues, stamina issues. And it's quite common now. And it's like the Japanese, the balloon fish, the puffer fish, Charlie.
Hmm.
The puffer fish. That's apparently one. I never had it, but it's one of the delicacies of Japan, right?
But if you
But
don't prepare it right,
well, you got to have a license to prepare it, right? In Japan, the chef has to have a license, has to be certified because it's deadly. And I kind of attuned that to COVID. Like, a lot of people eat the puffer fish and survive because it was done right. All the safety precautions were taken. And then you have those that like try cook them themselves, and they don't do very well. They die. They die. So I've had an opportunity to have that fish eaten. Uh, I just not going to take that chance. And I think because like with COVID, so many people that have caught COVID and have survived. Charlie, I think like you said, until you've been touched personally by someone that you know or love, um, it's kind of hard to appreciate how dangerous this virus is. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
you
And
know,
as time goes
you
on,
know,
Charlie, and
you know
as you
why I'm
start hearing
laughing.
about,
You know why
oh,
I'm laughing, because you're telling that story. Because the question remains: some people want to try to puff a fish, but you said I don't like try it because, and I'm like you, because if I'm eating a thing and something terribly go wrong, how I gonna sue the guy? I gonna be dead.
exactly, and so typically you'll have that puffer fish, which everybody like eat,
Yeah.
and then right next to that you're gonna have some hamaki, some ahi, some all these different types of sushi that is safe. Why? Why you gonna go eat something that could kill you? When I mean, It's like eating cow ball, not cow, bull balls. You know the mountain oysters.
Uh-huh.
People say, "Ah, you eat mountain oysters? Why? Why I'm gonna eat the nuts off of a bull
When you
when
can
I
have
can
the
eat
meat.
this?" Yes, I mean, you know, if I was starving and the balls was the last thing, then I would eat it. But when there's the prime rib, there's the filet mignon, there's the New York, and there's all of these meat, these different fillets, and right next get two nuts from one bull. You can have the nuts. I gonna eat the meat.
You know how dangerous that is as a delicacy? You know how dangerous it is?
Which one? The
The,
balls
the,
or
the
the fish?
no the gonads of the bull. Nobody really knows how dangerous it is. And the reason why? Because the guys who got the balls are not alive to tell you the story how they got it from the bull.
I, I remember. I remember, Charlie. I remember this like it was yesterday. So my friend said, "Bro, we're gonna round up. We're gonna round up. You look go with us, round up." I mean, my father was on cowboy. My grandfather guys was cowboy. All of they're cowboy. They work with horses, not cattle. And I said, "Wow, we got yeah, we're going up the pasture. We'll round up." I said, "What? What? You just going what? Round them up into one cattle?" Wow, we round them out and we cut off their balls. Nah, thank you. I pass. I pass. No, I don't want to go watch anybody cut the nuts off one bull. So yeah, I mean, it's like we making fun, right? We said we was gonna have fun tonight. Charlie, you're making me laugh. I heard my dad is saying, "Stop, Charlie." He gonna have to turn this off. But we said we're gonna have fun tonight, because we're trying to get these points across that it's we make choices in life, right? We make choices, and sometimes you gotta make the right choice. And but this is the deal, Charlie. Right? We remember from where we started to where we are today with COVID. We had this COVID that was so bad, and people were dying every day. I mean, Charlie took us on the journey, and that's a journey that, for most of us in the village, we'll never forget. And it still hurts to even talk about it. And then we started to see some of the developments, and we started to see some of the things. And now we have all of these options out there that people are saying, "Well, if I get them, I just gonna get the monoclonal." And it's the miracle drug. And so a lot of people now have decided to take risks and let their guard down. This is the problem, though. You go to a function, you go you how okay, the marathon, Charlie. You see how close those? What happened to the? Oh, we're gonna keep them separated, and they're going to be by 25 groups of. There was like 10,000 people leaving that starting line. Now, Charlie, when was the last time you had run on marathon?
Well, the last one I ran was about 6 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
I ran. I finished in under 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't can even drive the marathon. I mean, the 26 miles in the length of time that guy had run them.
Well,
But
my wife
but
said, you know why they run so fast? You try get chased by tigers and hyenas and stuff. You can
yeah.
run fast too, bro. That's all I can say. But to
Well,
keep it up for 26 miles or 24 miles, that is insane. Their
and
metabolism rate must be so high.
so yeah, you get those couple of guys that they just take off and they get to the end in a couple hours. But the majority of people is all one big group. And I don't know about you guys, but when you run, and I haven't really run in a long time, but when you run, you breathe hard, you breathe heavy, everything flies. A lot of times they're chanting and cheering and doing a lot of things, and they're all in this group together. Somebody texted or messaged me today and said, "Hey, Brother Mel, you think the marathon was a super spreader event?" Yeah, I think it's a super spreader event. Out of 10,000 people, many from other parts of the country, I mean, in the world, yeah, I think it'll be a super spreader. I mean, they'll never admit it, but those are the kinds of thing I'm talking about, that we have been convinced that it's okay, that it's safe to go out and do things like that. Now, it's funny because they continue to tell the local residents not to, or if you're going to have gatherings, socially distance, make sure you wear your mask if you're not vaccinated, or if but for events like that, it's endorsed, it's celebrated, and they're so excited. But I think that's why a lot of people believe that it's not fair and that they're going to take advantage of the opportunities to congregate, and then you end up with the clusters like the lounge in Honolulu, that all these people are now sick. And so we still got to be smart, people. I guess that's the message I'm trying to put out, is we still got to be smart. You can still go out and have your family dinner, but you gotta be smart. See, while I'm talking, Charlie's reading the comments and having a blast.
No,
He ch-
it's just about the cows. I guess it's a delicacy, but
No, not cows, not cows. Cows no more balls. Is the
a bull.
bulls.
I'm sorry, the bulls. So anyway, I had a friend that went and he told me, "Hey, you can go to this bullfighting arena, and at lunch they serve up this big platter of the testicles, deep fried
Hmm.
for $10 and big kind." So he went back the next year and had the same special, but this time the testicles are real small. So he asked the waiter, "Hey, last time I came, the bull testicles was big. This time the testicles real small. How come?" And the waiter said, "Even the bull wins sometimes."
Yeah, I tell you, man. Charlie, Uncle Charlie Nahale in the house. Charlie Nahale, my good friend. He said, "Man cow." It's the
Yeah,
man cow.
yeah.
How you, Charlie? Uncle Charlie, I miss you guys, man. Damn it. I
From the
tell you,
big island of Hawaii, from Kona.
I ran into Charlie. I ran into this.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
this.
And your dad gotta use a pillow because he's laughing so much.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm thinking it's. Oh my God. He gonna probably go bathroom tomorrow and find out what the hell had just come out. His stents had come out. I don't like what happened, Dad. Okay. So I was ran into this four people, and I didn't recognize them. I didn't know them, and they came over and introduced themselves, and I said, "Oh, nice to meet you, folks." And they said, "I just want to thank you." They're all, well, three of the four were healthcare professionals,
Mm,
two doctors, a pediatrician, an OBGYN, three doctors, and one spouse of the doctor. And they said, to that they watch our show. I don't see their names pop up. They must come on after we off when we're not live, but they just wanted to say to please tell Charlie thank you for doing what we're doing and continue doing what we're doing, because it's very informative. And I think, and man, wait till they watch the night show. I
Well,
just thought about that. Yeah.
I wanna say thank you to Liz. Yeah, she finally caught the joke. Yeah. Mhm. She finally caught
Yeah,
the joke.
there is about, like, if is Liz from Kauai?
No, I don't know. I
Because
possibly.
Andy Bumatai, I remember watching him when I was young, and he whenever he would come to Kauai, and we would go watch his show. He said, I gotta prepare every time I come Kauai. I gotta prepare because Kauai got on 7 second delay for the people laugh. It takes them 7 seconds. So. And you know what? 7 seconds later, people all had laugh again. Like.
She's from Maui, beautiful island
Oh,
of Maui.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe Maui get the 7 second delay too, or maybe longer. I don't know. That was kind of long after the joke. It was longer than 7 seconds. So
Oh, I sorry, folks. It's just certain things just tickles my fancy. Let me see.
I don't think that any one of us in the village thought that bull balls would tickle your fancy, Uncle Charlie. I just don't. I don't think it would be. I can think of other things that would tickle you, but not bull balls. By far, not bull balls.
No, the reason why is because I tell that joke when I was on stage all the time, and you see people's faces when you tell the joke, and they have it like up at the Kaleo Steakhouse, and they're eating a nice piece of steak when I'm telling them the story. And that's why we had to have a protective screen in the front because sometimes meat would come flying at us.
Look at. Oh, Marlene Moises. I'm from Calajeo. I caught it immediately. Yeah. Look at Rhonda Morris. Balls. What? What are we talking? We're talking balls tonight. We're talking about nuts. All right, testicles. We're talking about balls.
Ooh,
Yes, we are
I tell
talking
you.
about nuts. Put the kids away, please. Put the kids away. I think this is going to actually get worse before it gets better. Look, Rhonda missed it. Yeah, thank God. Rhonda, we got to get Rhonda back on. She messaged me
Hey,
yesterday. She wanted to know. She's in Utah. She's in Utah.
she living there now?
Or no, I'm sorry, Reno. What the hell
Oh,
am I
she's
thinking?
living there
Reno.
now?
No, she went up. She went up. I didn't ask for what, but yeah. So she's in Reno. I think she's coming
Hmm.
home tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would like to send a shout out
why?
if I may.
Auntie Millie. I'm not even gonna repeat what Auntie Millie said. Oh my God! Check the comments, people. Auntie Millie Ahi. Check her comment. What is the rating for this show? I think it's changed tonight. It is definitely changed.
But I'd like to send a shout out to Dr. Scott Miskovich and Dr. Dang Kohimano or Akiona for hosting with Mel the other night when I wasn't on. I read the comments then. I heard it was a good show, and God, thank you, thank you for all the information. We still have many. I look at them like crime fighters. Really, they're going into parts that are so desolate, right? Especially on the Big Island, and helping people and giving people the vaccine if they want it, and if they don't, they just wait for whoever wants a shot. And but they're keeping up the fight, and I I just want to say thank you to them. And we
Yeah,
got
the unsung heroes. I just think about we had Hoku Dusenberry Lee talking about how he goes into the homeless communities and gives out food and toys, and there's so many that go unrecognized, and yet like Dr. Miskovich and Dr. Akiona and many others that go out into those areas that a lot of us don't even know exist, and they're out there offering testing or vaccinations. I remember when Dr. Akiona came to Koi last week for our Scholastics banquet. She said, or maybe it was on the show, I can't remember, but she had just hit up about 160 or 130 vaccinations that day or the day before or whatever it was. And I'm saying, it's these people that are going out there, and they have families, they have children and they're going into communities that are potentially unsafe. You know, um, do you, unsung heroes, I guess, is what comes to mind because there's so many others out there. And then you have the support people, like our good friend Melissa, who Melissa, you cannot catch a break. Melissa is part of the families that are affected by the water situation on Oahu, and she also works at a hospital. She also deals with the respiratory patients, the respiratory therapy patients. She sees what's going on in the hospitals, and then she breaks her fingers a couple days ago. So now she's hung up at home with broken fingers. Melissa, prayers for a quick recovery, but she never gives up the fight. She's never given up the fight. She's there researching, and sharing good information with everybody. Again, so many unsung here. I cannot wait for the concert so we can have all these people come, Charlie. When we get that concert is going to be so special.
so
In fact, I
I
was
always
thinking,
I always ask, can we just get you one night without the constant
well,
reminder?
we haven't talked about the concert in a long time. And as I was penning this out the other night on a piece of paper, I actually pulled out a pencil and I started to pencil out this concert. And I realized, Charlie, the concert will be about 2.5 weeks long with all the people that are coming, and it's going to be a long concert. It's going to be a long, long, long concert.
Okay,
I mean, I just cannot wait. If these damn variants would stop.
yeah.
But that's the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what Ferris wheel. Melissa is asking for the Ferris wheel. We will have a Ferris wheel. I promise you.
She's got me into the state of Ferris wheels and unicorns. I was never into unicorns before, and to be honest with you, I never knew what a unicorn was. I thought it was like a bag of popcorn with just one popcorn. in the bag. That's why it's called a unicorn. But
No,
you know,
unicorn is when you get one corn, just one,
yeah,
just one. When you get your plate lunch and you open them up, and you know the corn from the vegetables that they wasn't using for that plate lunch, but was stuck on a spoon and he fall into your plate. That's a unicorn.
yeah.
That's when you get one corn. Yeah,
No, either that's a unicorn or that's a theft complaint because the rest of the corn is missing.
that too, that too. Yeah, this. Yeah.
Anyway, I wa-
So this. But I want to get back to the concert because everybody's asking about the concert.
oh
Because
damn.
yeah, I know. Great try, good try, Charlie. But no, we're going to talk about this concert. You see, because there's people on this in our village that may not have heard about the concert. But anyway, for those of you that don't know what the hell we're talking about,
Close your ears now.
when it is safe, Charlie is putting on a concert on Kauai. That's gonna be like no other. It'll be at the stadium more than likely because it's gotta hold thousands of people. But all of our no, it won't be at Charlie's house because it's just this concert gonna be too big. But Charlie's gonna entertain us. He's gonna play music with his band. We got so many others that will be here, and we're gonna have the rides for the kids. We're gonna have free food. We're gonna have free entertainment. It's gonna be free. So um, we cannot wait. But we're not. That's not going to happen until we get a handle of this damn doggone virus. And even those that call us fearmongers and whatever, even they can come because we got a special place for them in the bullfighter ring, where we're going to rip the balls off of those bulls and turn them loose. That's what we're going to do.
Hey, anyway, I wanted to ask about the status on the military, the water situation. For the life of me, I cannot. I mean, I'm not a hydrologist, but for the life of me, I cannot understand how that could have saturated so much. They have a company that's doing skimming, right? Because they're banking on the fact that fuel rises to the top, right? I don't care if you can see the damn thing. If it's contaminated, you dump the whole thing. You just take off the top and say, okay, right now we got most of it, and you leave the rest of the water in there. I'm sorry. To me, it just doesn't work that way. For me, anyway. And I don't know, the Navy, if they think that local people are that stupid that you say, okay, you took off most of the 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 scum off the top, right? Therefore, now the water is good. How many people going to still drink that water?
Yeah, not too many.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
you
why
know,
I don't get it.
I
I don't
we
get
had
it.
discussed this, and that kind of frustrates me when uh, uh, you know, we've been talking about and being very critical about how the Department of Health has handled COVID, and then we had a discussion a few nights ago about the water, and oh, it's 350 times above the safe levels of petroleum products in the water, Charlie. What is a safe level of petroleum in the water? Zero. I know somebody said, no, Mel, the federal EPA standards, they can allow you so much petroleum in the water. Why?
Okay,
Why?
so
Why can't we provide a system that is zero, that is free from petroleum or
okay,
chemicals or anything like that?
this is what you do for every glass of water that's served at a restaurant. You put in maybe a teaspoon of gasoline in there. The water should be safe if that's what you say.
Well, that's what they're saying. Now, I'm sure it's so many parts per billion that it's so little that they're saying it's going to be safe. That they're missing my point. My point is, why can't we develop a system that will keep out any contaminants? What? Why? I mean, when you talking jet fuel, sometimes the fly come on your pizza, he land, he drop his eggs, and he take off. You rip that pot off. Some people eat them. I don't. I throw the eggs away, but I eat the rest of the pizza. But you're dropping jet fuel in water that is causing people to get rashes and nausea and diarrhea and getting sick and and I just don't understand when we build these systems. Granted, it was is 40 from the 40s. Granted, it was from the war. Granted, at the time, yes, it needed to be done to keep our state safe. But okay, we're in 2020 now. You know, you I I watch the commercials on TV for diapers. Yeah, diapers can keep everything inside now. We cannot do that with one water system. Something wrong. And that to me, Charlie, I don't buy that. I don't. Not in 2021. I don't. I don't. Sorry. You
I'm,
you you guys
I'm
had allowed this to happen, and now you're trying to say that it's okay. We're going, yeah, like you said, we're going to skim the top. We're not making oxtail soup, people. Oxtail soup, you scoop the fat, but see, the fat tastes good. Jet fuel does not.
my only concern is I understand it was years ago, but whatever made them think that the best place to store jet fuel is miles from the airport? That's what I don't get. I don't
Oh,
understand.
that's why you got a crap load of pipes. You know, they had to put them. They had to hide them. You know, they had to hide them from the enemy. I just don't get it, man. I just like I said, and this is the bigger problem, Charlie, is that, and
I
we
know
talked
what
about
happened.
this before.
This is I'm going to solve the crime. You just said it. You had to hide them from the enemy. So what they did is they built tanks to make them look like water tanks, right? So the enemy never know had jet fuel. So now, fast forward to 2021, had Johnny on the spot. His turn to work to go regulate the water. And he went, okay, not knowing he was turning on the jet fuel. And he
Yeah,
went, oh crap, I ain't saying nothing.
yeah. It's like the guy that had pushed the bomb, the missile alert. Oops, oops. Oops. You cannot tell me that we no more systems in place to. I mean, really, really, really. Come on, people. It just baffles me. It really does. It baffles me how we can allow this thing to happen. But the bigger problem in all of this is that this isn't something that wasn't uh, that these guys weren't made aware of. This Red Hill issue has been around for over 10 years. That they have been talking about moving, getting rid of those things. That it's that one day this going to happen.
I can just imagine. No, by Ice Palace at the Stadium Mall, get that
Mhm.
Chinese restaurant, and they are pretty good Chinese restaurant. I can almost guarantee you, anybody going over there eat now, they bring water to the table while they're waiting for the food, and everybody going like this. They're looking at the glass, see if they
Yeah,
can find. I bet you they're doing that.
their
Oh,
their special of the day is egg fuel young. I mean, I don't know, man. I just think that uh, we have failed the people. The state has failed the people because it was. I remember months ago, and I talked about this where uh, Bob McDermott from the legislature, his office emailed. He wanted to know if he could come on the show to talk about the Red Hill tanks, and I almost wish we had brought him on at that point. But it's not like they weren't raising the flags, the warning flags, and saying, "Hey," And now it's like it's just like COVID, right? Everybody, all the experts raising the flags. All the experts raise. Well, red flag, red flag, and the leadership says, "Nah, nah," and then Delta comes, kikasino okole, and then now it's like, "Oops," you know. And we have a second shot at this with COVID. On the COVID side, we have a second shot with Omicron, right? That hey, let's go ahead and put some security practices in place or some safety practices in place. Totally ignoring. I mean, you haven't heard a thing from anybody from the state about Omicron other than it's too soon to tell. We know that it's very contagious. We just don't know if it's going to be if it's going to create serious illness or not because it's too soon to tell. So why not prepare, Charlie? Like the Red Hill, when people raise those flags, why didn't someone take a look and say, "Holy crap, we might have an issue before." You see, being reactive is what we are. The reactive state. That's what we're not the aloha state. We're the reactive state.
I'll tell you something right now. It's come through fruition, but whether people out there agree or not, this state is not prepared for any pandemic. The health department is not prepared because right now the health department can't call the shots. They're getting overridden because of politics. And when you're dealing with a pandemic, there is no room for politics, right? So all I'm saying is we are not prepared for any pandemic. If there's more to come, you just got to do the best you can because our state will, at least try at least level the playing field by implementing procedures. And what gets me most upset, and not upset. I mean I start to laugh a lot. They always give you the big headlines that, oh, Omicron has made landfall, and it was in fact it affected a male, local male, not travel related. Okay, are you telling me that the jury is still out on this? We don't know where. We can't tell you where it came from. It just, somebody was watering the yard and a whole bed of Omicron popped up from the ground. Is that what you're saying? So I think that's what's getting me irritated is how serious of an investigation do you want to take this? Wouldn't you at least want to try to find out where it came from instead of just resorting to the fact that you know what, we don't know, but it's here. Okay, you don't need to be on rocket scientist to figure that out. I would like to know. Okay, it's here. How did it get here? If it came in by plane, fine. Do we at least have a body associated? I mean, there should be a one-to-one transfer, right? That's how it was before. We did a pretty good job before when we were testing
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
You
I
know.
think you the magic word is that one-to-one transfer that if let's just say if I was king for the day,
Yep.
if I was king for the day and oh God, Omicron is coming. It's in South Africa, it's in the UK, it's coming. Right away, I would activate all of the contact tracers. Get all the contact tracers back on board. Get them trained up so we don't have to there's no lag because when that first case Omicron comes in, we need to investigate the crap out of them. You cannot just say, no, I never travel. Okay, but where did you go? And that's again, Charlie. It goes back to that. Where did you get it? And investigate that. If it takes 3 or 4 contact tracers, you have them in place. Ironically, today I was watching our county's broadcast. That the every day we get the county information briefing, and the civil defense guy was the guy talking. He said, he started to say thank you to all the National Guard. The National Guard people have been deactivated. Deactivated.
Yep.
They are done. They are okay. So let me get this straight. We let all the contact tracers go, and we left it at that. We got Omicron now. We cannot figure out where it came from. All we're going to tell you it wasn't by travel because we don't want to disrupt the travel people. So we're just going to be okay with that. We're going to be satisfied with its community spread. Charlie, like you said, unless you had go plant Omicron seeds in your garden, and at the same time we are deactivating the National Guard
Hmm.
at the worst possible time because we know the wave is coming. Now, is that preparation? Is that any type of proactive measures? Absolutely not. And
Well,
and and, what
their
the
their
hell?
role. You know their role. Their role up until I guess it's been almost a year now. The National Guard's role was they sat in those booths at the airport, right? With those one-way mirror type glass, and all they were doing was monitoring the body scans or the temperature scans, temporal scans. So the next time you fly, take a look at. Take a look what's above your head when you're coming out that jetway. You'll see a little camera facing at you, and if you come off with a high temperature, they're the ones that stop you. And so that's what's being discontinued. Now, I don't know if that so called information is being transferred to a remote location and they'll call someone up and say, hey, you got somebody that's registering 101, because that was a threshold. If you got a 101 temp,
Yeah,
most,
and it's going to come across. Unit 4, come in. Unit 4. Yeah, we just had a male and female Caucasian couple in their 50s, aloha shorts, heading towards baggage claim B. They just tested 101. You have a better description? There's like 200 of them. No, that's all we got. Just go look for somebody that's hot or feeling warm or flushed. And for it's just stupid. And again, when you had the forces activated and they were here, you can
right.
pivot. They like to use the word pivot. Okay, you can pivot. You can pivot their functions to what you need. Once that shit gets here, which it already is, Charlie, gonna be too late. Then we're gonna be chasing the horses that had already left the barn, and we're gonna lose once again. And you remember one of the doctors told us a long time ago. He said, even if the level of sickness is less, the case counts are going to quadruple, which means more people will die. Not as many people as with Delta, possibly. We don't know yet, but nonetheless, you're going to have more cases than Delta did, right? Because the transmission is so much higher that more people will get sick and more people will die. So that's what I don't understand. It seems like to me, Charlie, that our leadership at the state right now is okay with people dying as long as it's not too many. That's kind of the feeling I get. That's just my opinion. I'm curious to see how you guys all feel, because they make decisions or they don't make decisions. Their inaction tells me that we're gonna go with the flow. We're gonna continue doing what we're doing, and people will die as long as too many no die. Um, we'll be okay.
Well, I
Be
think
okay.
what you need to take a look at is the fact that they're banking on the fact that we have greater population that's vaccinated. That's what they're looking at. The only way that I can describe this whole their plan of attack would be that if you have a population that's greatly vaccinated, there's really no place the virus can go, right? But yet we know that vaccinated people can contract the virus and can possibly give it to someone who is not vaccinated. That's a given. Now, do we know that for a fact? We don't know. But that's the scientific, I guess, data that shows that it's possible, right? So the question remains. It's like a net that we're trying to surround the fish. We got all the nice floaters on the water, so we know where the net is and how it's surrounding the school of fish. Nobody bothered to go look under the surface of the water to see the big hole in the net. And they wonder why when we put a net tightly to shut it off and pull it up out of the water, there's no fish in the net, even though we saw that big school, because nobody bothered to look at the net to begin with. And I think we have the same exact situation here. Nobody is really looking at how much of this virus is entering the state and at what alarming rate. Right now, everybody's taking a position. Hey, it ain't that bad yet. So what do we do? Do we wait till it reaches 500, 600, or better yet, do we wait and then you give us a story that the counting system was faulty and that way this is accumulation of 3 weeks work? That's why the numbers are so high. The state is real good at misdirection plays. Instead of just being honest with us and telling us the thing is ballooning out of control, they're gonna give you some cock and bull story that, oh, the system at the lab in counting. when miscount. And they try to give you something that's so far fetched that you got to be part. You have to have what do they call that, a lobotomy, where they take part of your
Mhm.
brain out.
Yeah, right up.
Yeah, you got to be one of those, right? For this, and so
Well, we know we know a couple things, right? And we know this from the other countries, the UK. We know that 75 to 80% of the cases now are Omicron. We know that in South Africa, Omicron has taken over Delta as a predominant strain. We know that the UK saw their first death today, which is, again, remember, this is a relatively new variant that has just taken hold. So I think more will follow. But your analogy is spot on about the net and the hole. You know, this is another analogy, and somebody helped me with this. You remember when we were kids growing up? There was a storybook, probably kindergarten, first grade. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. And there was a story, and I think it was, I hate to say this, but I think it was Chinese. Because back then, remember when we were okay to talk about and have talk story about all different races, because that's what we were, and now you
this is
cannot
about the
because they're
Chinese brother, the five brothers. Is that the one?
the one had the tidal wave coming.
Yeah,
The five Chinese brothers. That might even be the title of the book, the
yeah.
five Chinese brothers. But anyway, every all of the brothers were afraid because they were being warned of this tidal wave that was going to come.
Hmm.
Omicron. Omicron is coming. Now, all the brothers were trying to tell this one brother, let's go. But see, the one brother knew as the before the tidal wave came, it sucks out all the water to create this big wall of this wave, and all the fish would be laying on the sand. And he knew that if he went and because he was greedy, that no one else was going to be fishing, everybody went for cover. He knew that if he went back to the beach, if he went back to the sand, he could get all the fish. Because yeah, five Chinese brothers, that's the one. And he was right. The wave, the water went out to create this big, huge tidal wave. All the fish was flopping on the sand, and his greedy self went over there to go pick up the fish. And guess what happened?
I'll share a story. My mom,
Boom, gone.
my
Greed. No, I
mom.
just want to say that the whole premise of what we're doing, our lack of, is the greed. Go get all these people, get all the money from our tourists before we got to shut down because let's take advantage of the situation. That to me is that analogy, that book to me resonates so strongly right now. What's happening in Hawaii? I'm sorry, Charlie. Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. So it just goes back to the premise that let's we we have all these dark buoys out in the ocean, right? And it's a combination of multi agencies that tap into the information because it's throughout the entire Pacific, right? So whether a tidal wave is moving towards the West Coast or coming towards Hawaii, we all share that info, correct?
Hmm.
But yet, when we have information sharing and the state is always bugging other countries to share information, but when it comes to Omicron, they don't care what you're gonna share with them. Hawaii doesn't care what you share because they're not gonna listen. We have so much information right now in the UK that's worthy, that can be very, very thought provoking, and that can prepare our people. The administration just doesn't want to hear it. So I said, you. So I guess the moral of the story is the state of Hawaii picks and chooses what information they want to use or listen to.
Unfortunately, you're right, man. And you know, and the saddest thing, and this will be my last comment before we say goodbye, is we can keep our economy moving. We can welcome our visitors. All we're saying is to make sure that our visitors that come in and our returning residents that come back are safe, are virus free. And the only way that's going to happen is by testing them pre and post. We talked about the strategies that other doctors have suggested, where you would test the residents and the visitors every day with rapid tests. That's not going to impact our visitor industry. What it's going to do is keep us a whole lot safer and reduce the chances of Omicron coming through. It's too late. I'm just saying that was what was recommended before Omicron was even identified. We were talking about that when they failed to do anything for Delta. And the experts came up, and a lot of people were recommending the test for everybody. And they have still ignored that. And now Omicron is here, and we are not going to be able to stop it now. So, unfortunately, Charlie, that your analogies, everything is spot on, and we can only hope now that Omicron is less severe, and that people be safe, and amongst the village, prevent the spread of this damn thing. So, all right,
Yep.
and it's 8 o'clock, bro.
Yeah. We
Any closing thoughts for our villagers, sir?
well, eh, as time goes on, there may be some that no longer have interest in the subject, and it's perfectly okay. But I want it to be known that we try and do our part. That's all. We try to mix. Yes, tonight we talked about balls. We want to thank you all for sharing that little humor along with us. And I miss you all. And I hope my laughter wasn't annoying you. But you know me by now. Uh, like I used to say when I used to play music, I apologize for anything that I do. But really, I'm not sorry. I just I just having fun. Laughter to me is the greatest medicine anyone can ask for. Because in this day and age, the last thing you want to do is end up in the hospital because of stress. And you don't need the stress right now. You just need humor in your life. So I hope we were able to share that with all of you tonight. Okay,
All
Melvin.
right, guys. I just want to really throw a plug in. We talked about this about the clubhouse. Guys, go to the clubhouse. Go to our comments. I think Dana Moore just has it in there. She just posted it up. Click on that. Download the app. It's free. Join our clubhouse discussions. We'll have it tomorrow at 5 o'clock. If you haven't done it, uh, go do it. I gotta tell you, it is fun. There's no video. There's no video. It's just audio, and it's just a bunch of an extended village, of people sharing thoughts and ideas. The clubhouse has all kinds of rooms, but we're focusing on the Hawaii COVID-19 talk. But we got experts, doctors, all kinds of people on there. So please go to Dana Moore's post on this feed right here and download the app and sign up. Again, it's free, it's fun. You can come in and out as often as you want. You don't have to stay.
It may
It's
be
actually
addictive, so be careful now.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's but there's all kinds. If you like entertainment, sports, whatever you want, you can find any clubhouse discussion. But our discussion is about what's going on in Hawaii. But we have people come from all over the world sharing their stories, sharing what they're going through. Great place to learn. So again, Clubhouse. Please go to that link and get the app, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Appreciate you guys as always. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, we'll be back, and we will hopefully have some guests on. If not, um, we'll talk about balls again. Let's just talk about some more balls. Maybe we'll download some videos of the roundup. That'd be cool. Some local roundup videos where people would recognize your friends and relatives. Um, but no, we'll have fun, guys. We'll have fun and yet keep the discussion pertinent to what's going on. We want to. Charlie says it's best. We do this because we love you guys. We don't want to see nobody get sick or die. That's the bottom line. That's straight from the heart. We want we want you guys to be safe. We want you folks to be at Charlie's concert when this is all said and done. All right, guys. So, oop, no, this way. See, the camera is backwards. Should I point, Charlie? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Charlie's concert. It'll be the best
Mel's
concert of them
concert.
all.
Mel's
And
concert.
it'll be at a time where you don't need to wear mask. You don't need, you can just have good fun. All right. Tyson says we can talk about sports balls. Good idea. We'll talk about sports balls. That sounds like a plan. Rams won tonight. Rams beat the Cardinals, guys. Woo! Playoffs looking interesting now. See you guys Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. You guys stay safe. God bless. We love you guys.
Take care
Aloha.
now.
Aloha.
Aloha.